So today, to pick up where we left off last week, we are going to talk about three other ragas, Bhairavi, Hemavathi and Valaji, also known as Valaji. The second important Alapana building block is you should know as many compositions as possible. For building an Alapana, a very simple template is starting off either in the lower octave or lower notes, developing some akaram around the panchamam, then working your way up to the higher shadjam, developing some akaram around the higher shadjam, then moving on to the higher octave and then winding down. And we will see this in the three ragas that we are doing today. And I also incorporated some key phrases of this ragam, like for example, Garini da Gari Risa. So that is also an example of a symmetric pattern. I incorporated Jaru or glide. Sa to pa, we are gliding. And then I also incorporated Brigas. Now moving on to this Vadi samvadi, basically these are 5-note and 7-note intervals, and in a raga it is important to study how many of these 5 and 7-note patterns are present in that particular raga. So from Re 1, go right, count 5. Re, ma. Can somebody tell me one raga which has this combination?
Pantuvarali.
Coming to Bhairavi, some very major compositions that I would like everybody to learn is the Bhairavi Swarajati and Bhairavi Atatala Varnam, Viriboni. Sa ga re ga ma pa da ni sa. Gamakam to the ma, which is called a kampitam. Kampitam is where you start your ma in the previous note, which is the ga, touch the next note, the panchamam. Ma, ga, pa, ma. That is an important gamakam that we give in Bhairavi. The standard way to start a Bhairavi Alapana is in the Rishabham. Re, ga, ma, pa, da, pa. Any raga with this Re to ga to combination, Chatushruti Rishabham, Sadharana Gandharam. Any raga in which you see that, your Rishabham will not carry gamakam. Another important point to note in Bhairavi is that we typically don't sing Sarigama Padapa. Sarigama is not considered as good Bhairavi. You can start your phrase in Re. Rigama Padapa. Rigama Padapa. Rigama Padapa Ni Dapa. We'll still have only Shuddha Daivatam. Rigama Padani Sa. When you go to the male Sa and beyond, then you will sing Chatushruti Daivatam. That is why the primary Daivatam of Bhairavi is Shuddha Daivatam. Na, na. Again we are trying to develop some akaram around the higher octave shadjam. Re sa ni da pa ma pa da ni sa. Also in the higher octave of Bhairavi, you have to develop some phrases. Re ga ma ga re ga ma ga ga re sa re ga re sa re ga re re sa. Ne re sa re da pa da ni sa re ga re. Ta ra ra na. Move on to Raga Hemavathi. So Hemavathi again, it sounds exotic, but it's actually a rather easy raga to sing. It is the Prati Madhyamam counterpart of Karahara Priya. So Deepthi, you can help me sing the Arohanam Avarohanam of Hemavathi. Sa re ga ma pa da ni sa. Sa ni da pa ga re sa. In Hemavathi, one way to quickly establish the ragam is to show the lower knee and the prati madhyamam. So Archis sing this. Ni da pa ma ga re. Ni da pa ma ga re. You can do a lot of phrase building around the pa and the da. A, na, then you can combine ascending and descending notes. Sa re ga ga re sa ni da ni sa ni da pa ma. When you have a pratimadhyamam ragam like this with sadharana gandharam or ga too, we should handle that ga very very carefully. Ga ma pa da ni sa re ga re, that's all you can give. If you do ga ma pa da ni sa re ga re, what I am doing is ma ga ga re, I am giving that ga from Shuddha Madhyamam, which would be wrong in Hemavathi. Padama.
Padama.
Very good. So these are glides or jarus. Again, coming back to that Vadi samvadi combination. You can sing Hemavathi Alapana for 1 hour with a lot of akaram, lot of creativity. So in some ways, compared to a raga like Bhairavi, which is more traditional, this raga is like an open canvas. It has more scope for unbridled creativity. So it's a great raga to explore for somebody who is starting out. Re re ga ga ma ma pa pa, that is Janda combination, but combining with Varja, ga ga ma ma ga ga da da ga ga ni ni da da pa pa ma, will sound good. Valaj or Valaji, it is known both ways, is a raga which is actually very simple, very catchy. So these ragas are also very important because in a concert, when you sing Valaji, it will sound very catchy. It is a raga that has come in vogue in the post-Trinity times. So we don't have any Trinity composition. My guru has composed a beautiful Varna. Padma Bhushan Lalgudi Jayaraman sir has composed in Valaji. So if you have not learned that Valaji Varnam, do try to learn it, because not only does it give you an extensive introduction to the Raga Valaji, it is also very intricate in terms of Tala. Shadjam, Antara Gandhara or Gatri, Panchamam, Chatushruti Daivatam or Dhatu, and Kaisiki Nishadam or Nitu. Also we saw a lot of glides are possible. Sadani pada ga pasa ganita gasanida gaga sanida. It will sound very nice and dramatic when you use glides in Valaji. And then this Antara Gandharam there, Saga, you cannot oscillate it because there is no Madhyama. Ni, sa. So the ni is the only note in Valaji which can be given that back and forth oscillation. Sa, ni, da, pa, da, ni, sa. So typically many alapanas of Valajis will start in the Gandharam. Ga, sa, ga, pa, ga, da, pa. Or you can start in da. Da, ni, da, pa, da, ni, da, pa, ga, sa, ga, pa. And in alapanas, it's always nice to have an unpredictability element. If you do ta ra na na, it is what is standard. Ga pa da ni sa. If you do something little different, ga pa da ni ga sa pa na pa ra ta na. That we will end the thing with some question answers. Mrs. Shanta, I know you've been waiting patiently. Please ask me your question. Unmute.
Yeah, actually there is a Purandara Dasa Kriti Hari Kunida Namma. So it has been in, the Rag Valaj.
See, with Purandara Dasa, what has happened is we have lost the original tunes. So,
oh, I see.
Somebody who has tuned it in Valaji. I am very glad you mentioned it. Because like that.
Yeah.
It's a very good observation, Raji. So what you should start observing when you listen to Alapanas, right? The phrases, unlike a Kriti, will not be in equal tempo. So in an Alapana, many times when we start off trying manodharmam, right? We are so used to compositions that we give everything in the same tempo. So like Raji was saying, if you sing na ra ra ra, it is going to sound a bit dull because I am singing like Kriti. But in Alapana, you have to mix and match the tempo. And thank you for all of you who gave good feedback overall. So thank you all for participating with so much enthusiasm, and special thanks to those of you who came for both the batches. It was very encouraging to us to see people of all ages, locations participating, and like I said, use this as a way to build your skill as well as your confidence. So with that, thank you all.